Good evening. Welcome to the special call meeting for the city of Hiram. Pastor McGrady, you want to get us started?
Yes, sir. Father, now in Jesus' name we come saying thank you, God. We bless you for this day, this time. Father, we pray as always that you would lead us and guide us. We pray, God, that your wisdom and knowledge be before us. God, this body of elected and appointed officials, we pray they use your wisdom and knowledge in this day to serve your people. We thank you, Father, and we bless you. In Jesus' name I pray, with faith believing, amen.
Amen.
Let's all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have the public participation. Nina Copening, sign up. You have something to say?
No, I just wanted to have an opportunity to speak when if something came up. So right now I cannot.
Mr. Mayor, if they're wanting to speak, this is the time to address the council.
Correct. It is. Doris Devi?
I put my name down in case there were some questions that I would like to ask, but.
Can we be flexible with that, considering it's, can we open that? Is there some,
As long as they're recognized by the mayor, then if the mayor recognizes them to speak, if they're choosing not to speak right now, because the mayor is in charge of running the meeting, I think that would be fine.
Well, we're trying to keep it down to a low roar.
I do have
This
a
is
question now.
This is their opportunity to, if they want to talk.
Do we know if any of our state representatives or the senator will be attending, so questions could be addressed to them?
They have been invited.
No response?
No response.
I received a response. He said he would not be able to. Jason Anavartardi said he would not be able to make it.
Meg?
Yes, sir, nothing at this time.
Okay.
Nothing that breaks forth with conversation.
Okay. Cynthia Stark Jones?
Yes, I'd like to speak. Speak right here.
Sure. Or you can step up here.
My name is Cynthia Stark. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My name is Cynthia Stark Jones, and I'm here to speak on the bill that is trying to dissolve Hiram, the city of Hiram. My understanding to dissolve a city, one of the main reasons would be that it's a ghost city or a ghost town and it's not progressing. Due to Hiram is progressing, due to schools are overcrowded, that they are building new schools, due to the roads are overcrowding, that they are building new roads and expanding roads. Those are two, business are growing. So therefore, those are three good reasons to continue to have the city of Hiram. So I'm against dissolving the city of Hiram. Also, I would like to say that there are many people that this would affect if you dissolve the city of Hiram. So I think that their voices need to be heard today, in whatever manner you do it in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ash?
Hello again. My name's Ash Howe. I've been a resident of the city of Hiram for about the last 8 years now. A lot of you recognize my face. I've been spending a lot of free time in city meetings and have become very well informed. Since this initially came out, there's been a little bit of a news desert, been a bit of a vacuum for information for both citizens at the state and the local level as to what's happening, what's going on. I want to thank the City of Hiram employees and council for for being so proactive, stepping up and providing more information, more context, more details. Now what we're getting a complete lack of information right now from is the senator, the one that proposed this bill. I emailed him going back 2 weeks ago when this initially broke and this information came out. I said, I'm a concerned resident of Hiram. I applied no political bias. I just want answers and I just want information. Since then, I've received zero contact. Nothing. Radio silence. I think we're all concerned about what are the ramifications going to be at the city level, at the county level, for the men and women here employed by the city of Hiram. What's going to happen to them? There's interesting things going on within the state right now. There's the city of Quitman, Georgia, and the city of Braswell, Georgia, both undergoing similar scrutiny. What makes them different versus the city of Hiram? Things like the annual audit being performed. The city does that. What makes us different? You see a lot of rhetoric on Facebook. I've seen the senator post passive-aggressive and lackadaisical responses, but not actually answering to any of his constituents here and also in the county. So here we are today, and I have a question for the council. If the citizens of the city of Hiram were to gather together to hold a rally and invite our local congresspeople and invite our local senator to look us in the eye, would the city have any opposition to such an event?
I would not.
I would not.
No.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. In closing, I guess I just want to wrap up and say, at the end of the day, I appreciate what everyone's doing. I know there's a lot of questions probably still to be posed to the city council. I think right now the number one priority is to move forward, to preserve what we have. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it could be. I think this is a great example of civic involvement because it's very easy to pass these meetings by. It's very easy to not pay attention. And the situation we're in has only been highlighted at the state level. It hasn't been changed. And it still can be resolved, and I know the council is working to fix it. So, in closing, thank you very much for your time and keep up the good work, everybody.
Thank you, Ash.
Dr. Carpenter?
I'm really unprepared. I'm shooting from the hip here. I would like to reserve a right of rebuttal to anything else that goes on later in the meeting to make further comment if that's allowable. And based on what the attorney was saying about your controlling the meeting. But
Yeah, right now you've got 3 minutes.
yes, sir. I've been the owner of Hiram Animal Hospital right adjacent here for the last almost 20 years. And, no wait, 27 years, sorry. Time flies. And the city has been very integral in many aspects of my business and in support of needs that have come up because of what's been going on with the highway out front and environmental silliness that's been going on. And I'm very much in support of maintaining the city as it exists and the structure therein and the politicking that's been working in the favor, I think, of the citizenry and of the businesses. I don't toot my own horn about any of this, but I believe I am the largest employer on Highway 92 going all the way up to Ackworth. I employ 36 people. I don't know anybody else down through Douglasville or Paulding County that employs as many on this stretch. And the city has been an important part of that. So you have my support, you have my vote if that comes down to that, but I would like an opportunity to rebut anything else that comes up later in the meeting if that's possible.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Well, as to your question, there will be a lot of people that are displaced should this dissolution go through. I've spoken with everybody at Paulding County, the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, the other three of the other commissioners, and spoke with the sheriff. None of them are in favor of dissolving Hiram and having to pick up the responsibility for that. The sheriff told me he'd have to hire an additional 30 people just to police the city of Hiram. He's already 30 people down right now And for him to have to hire 30 plus another 30, it's a little tough. The commissioners, they don't want the additional work, because coming with taking over the city comes a lot of work. You've got to maintain the roads, you've got to do the water surveys, you've got to run the water system. There's a lot that goes on. In order for them to do that, they're gonna have to raise the county millage rate all the way around to support the city of Hiram. So they really don't wanna do that. Now, we've got a PowerPoint that we're gonna show tonight that I think will answer a lot of your questions. Joe, you wanna do that? Mike,
It's coming,
let's go.
it's coming.
You can see the current city hall was built in 1996. They did a limited reservation in 2011. City Hall houses city administration, municipal court, and police department. The police department and municipal court take over City Hall due to growth from 10 to 37 personnel, 34 sworn, working off of one hallway. Just that one side of the building is all that the police department has to house them. The city administration will move to new spaces at 150 Oak Street and 855 Hiram Douglas Hospital. We have grown and we need to have those additional spaces. We're having them renovated as we speak, and the people will be moving over there upon completion of the renovations. And you guys want to know what we do with all the money we get in? The mayor makes $10,000 a year. The city council members make $5,000 a year, and the mayor pro tem makes $5,500 per year. So as you can see, we're really robbing the bank here.
And that's what, $13.72. So we do this because we want to serve our community.
Today in the Georgia Fund One investments, we have $1,265,125. We currently have approximately $400,000 in hotel fund account, which can be used by any unrestricted general fund expense. And in our general fund cash, we have a balance of $364,000. The total amount available cash is $2,029,125. So as you can see, the city is not broke. We're not destitute, as the senator keeps saying. In January 2015, Hiram had $5,487,590 in cash reserves. At the January 15 council meeting, between $2 and $2.2 million were approved for the sewer project, and this was general fund money. That's the sewer project that goes down Main Street, which is available for the businesses down here, and most of them have tapped on, and it's available up this way for any residents that would like to tap onto the sewer. In November 2015, Nebo Road resurfacing project was approved by the council for $733,947, general fund to C.W. Matthews. The city of Hiram is responsible for Nebo Road from 92 up to Dallas Nebo Highway. So that was then. Jody, what's the estimated cost for resurfacing that entire road right now?
I believe as it stands right now, we were looking in excess of $1.2 million. I think it was one of the estimates for a deep patch reclamation, because that road has been so heavily traveled by construction traffic with the new subdivisions that are being built outside of the city on Dallas Nebo and Nebo Road unincorporated area. So we're seeing the erosion of subgrade to the roadway, which is also causing additional expense to repairing the road.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot more heavy equipment going down there, dump trucks, cement vehicles, semis. That road is getting a lot more traffic than it used to, and it's taking its toll on the road. In July of 2016, we had in general fund cash reserves of $2,180,358, a reduction of $3,307,232, not because of mismanagement of money, but because of necessary expenses, as you can see from the road work and the sewer project that had to be done. Cash reserves for 2016, 2023. Between 16 and 23, we had a balance of $2,603,924. In August 23, we transferred 168 for the startup of sanitation. Why did we do that? We had GFL as a contractor for our sanitation service throughout the city. Our front office staff was experiencing numerous complaint calls. People weren't getting their trash service. They weren't picking up on the days they were supposed to. So we finally, the city council made a decision that we would start our own sanitation service, which has dropped the complaint calls down significantly. People are getting the service that they're paying for. Solid waste management ordinance was approved on June 4th, 13. The resolution establishing fees. Curbside is $12.50 a month. Back door is $16.50 a month. Residents 65 and over are $10 a month. Residents 70 and over are $8 a month. At this time, the service provider, Waste Industries,
Sorry, go back.
zip back on that one. Waste Industries established a charge to the city of $11.48 a month per customer. So we had to raise upon that fee just to pay for our own in-house service for that. Go ahead. Service types, total cans, residents served. You can see what we have here. Next. Vehicles transiting Hiram, Georgia. 22, we had 20,464,665. We had a drop in 23 to 19 million. 24 was up to 21,521,116. 2025, 21,813,986. And to this date of this year, we have 1,661,170 vehicles that traverse 278 and 92. It's a lot of traffic, which takes a lot of service from our police department out there. Along with traffic comes accidents, people driving crazy. All that has to be maintained, and our police department is out there doing that, along with Georgia State Patrol.
Hold on, I'd like to interject, please. So 90% of our budget is allocated for our police department, making the city of Hiram one of the safest cities in the state. There are misconceptions, misinformation being circulated on social media and our community, asking why do we have a department so large, because we only have approximately 5,200 citizens. However, Chief, can you speak to that, about why we have a police force, why are we, and how we provide safety not only to our citizens, but to the county as a whole?
Let me make one minor correction. Police department budget's 70%, because we are the largest department in the city. But as you see the numbers, we have 21 million plus cars, which means on any given day, we have 65,000 people inside the city of Hiram visiting the 800 businesses within the 4 square miles. So when we look at crime statistics, we have to base it upon the 65,000 people who are serviced by the police department during any given day. They start arriving around 6 o'clock in the morning. They do not leave until about 3 o'clock in the morning. The only safe and sane time to drive in Hiram is between those 2 times after they leave and before they get there the next morning. So when you look at our crime statistics, they're based on the 65,000 people. And I want to caution you, and particularly some of the people that have been rather rude about the crime statistics and the fact that we're lying. Be careful of the state's crime statistics, because they punch in a zip code, 30141, which is Hiram, parts of Cobb, parts of Douglas. And when you punch up those numbers and you see there were 7 homicides, we have 6 missing that we know nothing about, because it didn't happen in the city of Hiram. one homicide in 5 years. The crime scene numbers will show up in a couple of minutes. But understand you're living in one of the safest communities in the state of Georgia. Our crime rate for the 65,000 people that stay here is 0.3% per thousand. You walk out of Hiram and into the county of Cobb, it goes up to 29 per thousand. You look at our property crime rate, it is 1/3 of what any of the jurisdictions surrounding us. You have asked for that. They've done it.
Good job, Chief. Okay. Where are we going here?
He's back and forth because we don't know which one you want to start with, so you jumped to the police, and we did too. So we can go back to the table of contents where you can actually choose. Or if there's
Let's
questions.
go to the
you wanna
homestead
choose.
exemption. Okay, back in 2017, the council, City of Hiram has not collected a property tax since 1976. It's been 50 years since they've collected a property tax. 2017, the council realized that at some point, they were going to have to collect a property tax to keep the city operating with the increased demand and the increased participation of people coming to the city of Hiram. So the referendum was put out and it was voted on. We made exemptions, homestead exemptions, although we've never used them because to date we have not collected city property tax. The general homestead exemption is $40,000. Applies to every property with a homestead exemption in place with Paulding County. So if anybody in here doesn't have a homestead exemption with Paulding County, you need to do it because they have a like exemption. At age 65, there's an additional $15,000 exemption, and at age 70 and over, there's 100% exemption. It means you pay, in the city of Hiram, you would pay no property tax.
Which means that we are shielding and protecting our most vulnerable, those who are retiring, those are elderly. Many cities do not offer that. In fact, one city just rolls out their homestead exemption this year. And then it's a blanketed $50,000 for all of its citizens. They did not take that into consideration. However, they're not on the chopping block.
They're next.
Maybe. But the thing is, you got, if this is one of the safest cities and we protect our law enforcement, we respect our law enforcement, and we want safety for our community, why would a city as such as Hiram, why Hiram, why now? Why? That's the question you need to ask. What has changed recently for this shift, for this type of attack on this city, founded over 130 years ago, providing all these quality services for our citizen with no contribution because we continued to provide that and roll that out for you as a service?
Yeah, up here, the homestead exemption examples. Now, Melissa, does a QR code that they can
Yes,
access?
out front, there's a QR code that the tax assessor provides, actually, that you can scan that code and you can go straight to their homestead exemption application page. The deadline is April 1st, so he always pushes that out, so he loves for us to convey the same message. April 1st is the deadline for the homestead exemptions. For Paulding County, Hiram, whomever, that's the deadline.
Thank you. And up here's the examples, the assessed value, 40%.
Of the fair market
The
value.
fair market value, $200,000 home they would be assessed on an $80,000 value.
Then you apply the homestead exemption, the general of 40,000. This would be a Hiram example.
Right. But you can view all this, well, if you access the QR code, correct? Next.
Sorry, before we move on to sanitation, can we also discuss the other bill that was introduced that restructures the lost dollars? So for municipalities that do not have a millage rate, it's a double jeopardy because now they're going to lose out on the lost dollars, which are the local tax dollars. Can you speak on that, Jody, please? Explain the new bill that's come out.
Local option sales tax, everybody refers to it as lost. It's a sales tax, 1% of items purchased at a store anywhere in Paulding, because it's a shared 1% tax among the qualified local governments, and that's an actual classification. If you are a qualified local government, you are eligible to receive lost and splost, which is special purpose local option sales tax. But regards to lost, it is used to assist governments who do levy a millage rate to roll back their taxes in order to give more of a break to property owners and the tax burdens that they have. In Hiram's case, we've never levied a millage. We've never set a property tax since 1976. So we still are qualified or eligible to receive lost funds. We have a share that we receive from the total take of sales, point of sale data that comes out of Paulding County, incorporated Dallas, and incorporated Hiram. Of that total 100% of the taxes collected, Hiram generates approximately more than a third of the taxes. We say about 37% of the taxes, of the sales tax generated is generated in the city of Hiram. So of the total taxes collected, we get 4%.
Does that sound fair to you all? That we only collect 4%, but we generate the money from our corridor. Does that make sense? And if our state legislators or our local delegation feel that they want to help the city and its citizens and its employees, would they not feel like would it not be something to consider to draft legislation for equitable distribution of these taxes? Would that not make sense?
We've asked for that, and it fell on deaf ears as far as we know.
To finish the content of what I started, wanted to explain what lost is and how it's collected and how it's divided. There's a legislation that is currently being considered by the House side of the state legislature. It is House Bill 1116. And what it is seeking to do is to provide property tax relief to homesteaded properties, places where people either own their home or have a mortgage living in the home that they have the mortgage on. What this legislation would do would be replace lost with something called a local homestead option sales tax, an LHOST. And in the language of the bill as it is currently drafted, it would, any city that currently does not have a property tax in place would become ineligible for LHOST, the replacement for lost, and lost would go away, which would strip the city, us, of $1.3 million that is generated by local option sales tax currently. That's our share that we would receive. So we would also have a deficit of that amount if that law were to go into effect. There has been discussion that they may consider amending the language, or they may revise it later on at a subsequent session of the legislature, which by then would be a very hard pill for the city to swallow.
So think about this. How many small cities are in the state of Georgia? Does anybody know?
529.
About that, yes. So, thank you, Doris. So how many other small cities would be in jeopardy or would be at risk of being on the chopping block if they move forward with this? Right. Do the math. Is it less local control? What are we doing? Are we stripping our local communities of their voice, of their earnings? And where's that going to be shifted when you go to the grocery store? When you get your gas, where are those taxes? How are we going to raise literacy rates without these things in place? And to try to change this, I don't know if it has to do with election season. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But think critically, think between the lines. Contact those who are in support of this, which are your local delegates. If you need names, you can look it up, we can share them with you.
Because if these things go away, you could rest assured, say, hey, great, I get a little break on my property tax, but when you go to get a permit, you get to take out a special event permit, all those fees are gonna be increased because they have to make up that revenue somewhere. And that's what they're gonna do. Next slide.
Again, you just gotta tell us what you wanna talk about, and we can flip to it.
All right,
Go
let
back
me
to
see
the table of contents.
There you Haven't hit city, revenue sources, if you wanna do that.
Let's do citations and warnings. Chief?
It has been our goal since we arrived at the city of Hiram that we're not going to use citations as a way to tax the people. That is not our job. Our job is to gain voluntary compliance with the motor traffic laws of the state of Georgia. Which means as you look at these numbers, we issue more warnings than we issue citations. Because if we can get the job done and the person says, yes, I understand, I did something stupid, and I won't do that again, we're gonna take them at their word. But if we stop them again, we're not taking them at their word the second time. We issue citations for the most serious events that occur within the community. And what that means is we are not predatory. You have enough without worrying about if the police are gonna stop you and write you an unnecessary citation. The people that do get a citation, honestly, until the judge says they deserve it, I can't say anymore. But I will say that the officer had probable cause at that point to issue that citation. And we want to stop the aggressive driving, DUIs, those serious things. And it means that we can't focus on everything. We have 30 people to police a population for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is much better than we had 5 years ago when we had only 17 people to police the entire city. As you look at the next slide, I hope, there we go. Our municipal court fines, those numbers look large, but they're not. If I turn the safeties off and turn them loose, we'd be talking millions. That's not our job. State law says I cannot raise any more than 30% of the budget of the police department. Right now, we're at 8.68%. We only write citations to less than 1/10 of 1% of the people that transit Hiram. These numbers are because of the seriousness of the driving and being stopped by the officers. These are accidents, DUIs, reckless driving, aggressive driving, those types of things that make a difference in your life every day when you're out there on the roadway. We'll go to the next one. And I'll stop there, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay. Again, as I told you, in 2021, we were authorized 24 people, we had 17. And we started a rebuilding program, and as you can see, by the time we got to 2022, we made progress. We have one more person than we had the year before. Woo-hoo, we're doing good, okay? Coming out of COVID, it was a tough time for everybody. Get into 2023, as we're rebuilding the department, what we start to see is that we finally have filled up the department. We had no more spaces to put people. But what I want you to understand about these numbers is we're not hiring civilians. We're not hiring administrative staff. Everybody we hire, with the exception of the people that are necessary, the 3 people that I hate to even call them clerks, they're not clerks. Our GCIC person, our open records person, our certification person. They're necessary for us. Everybody else is forward-facing, meaning that they are providing direct service to you. Whether they're a patrol officer, whether they're a detective or investigator, whether they're a member of the command staff, because yeah, we're still out there too. You wanna come hang around on Saturday, we'll be out at the No Kings on Saturday. Why? Because I asked them to do it, we've gotta do it too. That's the police department that you have right now. This is what I told you about our violent crime rate. Take a look at those numbers. We've had 1 homicide, unfortunately. And it was a very egregious one. I'm not gonna minimize it. Sexual assaults, the numbers continue to dwindle. And since Ivy's here, she can tell you a lot of this is family related or known to known. This is not somebody that's grabbed off the street and sexually assaulted. Look at our robbery numbers. 2 in a year. This is not a month. This is a year. And it's still bad that we have 2. They'll do better. They're good. Have faith in them. Aggravated assault, we saw a change when we saw a movement of one place here in town where we had some problems. And then when you look at the bottom numbers, I dare you to compare them against somebody else. And then let's go to the next slide, which should be, our burglary rate is low. It started out a little high and we were able to get it. But look at our larcenies. Our biggest crime is larceny, shoplifting. That larceny shoplifting number, if I could get rid of the shoplifting, larceny wouldn't exist. What I will tell you is this. I have detectives, and there's one of them right there, that between him and his partner and another in their office, they were able to bust 2 national shoplifting rings that were working here in Hiram, making circuits coming through the Atlanta area. This detective and another were able to bust that. Our vehicle thefts are down. Most of our vehicle thefts come from rental vehicles that are over, people keep them longer than they should. U-Hauls that are kept longer than they should. And then we have a lot of other minor issues with those. Arson, we had that little spurt in 2022. Don't understand why. But then since then, we've not had much. But again, look at the numbers. And if you take larceny out of there, it's not that. The thing is, when I listen to people talk, what they tell me is, traffic's bad, trucks on my road, people are speeding. What I don't hear from the public is people are breaking into my house, they're raping, they're robbing, they're murdering. Isn't that a great thing? Yes. Next slide, please. This is what I was telling you about earlier. Georgia's overall violent crime rate is 3.26 per 1,000 people. Hiram's, if you take a look at it, almost doesn't exist. It's 0.38 per 1,000. When you look at our property crime rate, it is the lowest in the group. And I put up, and this is no offense against the other jurisdictions around us, but something's happening inside Paulding or inside Hiram that once you step outside of the city, the world changes slightly. And it's because you trust us to do this job. Next slide, please. And then finally, accident rates. I wish we could get on this. We have a 2% reduction in accidents, which you don't think is much, but trust me, that's pretty significant. What we have learned is nobody can drive. They get to the Paulding County line and go, oh, don't know. Okay. It happens. Most of it is inattention, speeding, following too close, failure to yield right away. Top 3 reasons we have accidents. Our calls for service are up about 38% in the last 5 years. 38%. That's why we had to add the 8 people, is because people are demanding more service from us. And then finally, when you look at the calls for service, what we're seeing with those is every member of the department has been through the crisis intervention training. Every member of the department has been through the escalation of use of force. Our use of force has dropped off. It is, for all intent and purposes, probably what you would expect out of a department of about 5 or 6 people work in a town of about 300. Because our folks are doing an incredible job. I know I keep telling you that, but I'm proud of it. That's what you pay for. But remember, you haven't paid for it in 50 years. There's been no property tax. We've existed on sales tax revenue. But the world has changed since COVID. One of the criticisms I got was you spend $1 million on cars. Hey, yes, I did, and I will take the hit for that. Over 5 years. And money did not come out of taxes, it came out of SPLOST. We used what you heard earlier, special local option sales tax, that 1 penny, to pay for those cars. That was 11 cars. A patrol car cost me about $55,000 to start with. And then it costs another $45,000 for all of the equipment that has to go on. Each one of those cars that you see out there that says Hiram Police is worth $90,000. Do the math. 90,000 into $1 million isn't that much. And I know it's a great amount of money for the normal person, but for a police department trying to outfit vehicles to be able to respond to that 38% increase in calls for service, it is not that much of a budget for us. I'll be here after this is over to answer any questions that you may have, and I thank you for the time that you've given me to explain this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Citizens' complaints.
Oh, sorry, one last thing.
Come on.
I was trying not to show the slide. Okay. We are a state certified agency. Being state certified means that we're one of 24% of the agencies in the state of Georgia that have achieved 148 critical standards for professionalism in the state. We in Dallas are the only two in Paulding County that are state certified, which also means we track use of force, we track citizens' complaints. Not only do we track them, it is the responsibility of every supervisor, Mr. Allhead, which he'll tell you he hates it with a passion, but he has to do it every week. He has to go through and look at body camera and in-car video randomly from every officer that he is assigned to from the week before to make sure they're following our policies. When the person comes in and complains, we investigate. We don't have a choice, and I wouldn't want it any other way. So we've investigated 7 complaints in 2005. None of them were founded. And the reason why is because in 2004, we got body cameras. And all of a sudden, we now have a first point of view of what happened at that encounter. We had 0 founded, 1 unfounded, and 6 exonerated. The difference between those is unfounded means I'm not sure what you're talking about, but whatever you complain about did not happen. Or in one case, it wasn't the officer. And then the exonerated ones are where we see an engagement between 2 people, but the officer's actions were within policy. 2004, you wonder why there's a blip on 2004. My average experience level right now is 3.5 years. Probably less than that. Imagine where we are when we've hired them back in 23 and they're finally out on the street. Are they going to make mistakes? Are they going to say things they shouldn't? Probably. But it's our time to correct them, to coach them, to mentor them, to make them better people. We had 2 founded. 2 founded means there was discipline attached. 5 unfounded means there was nothing to it. 8 exonerated means there was an encounter, but we could not find a policy violation. And then you get back to 2023, where we only had 3. The number of cars are increasing, the number of encounters are increasing, the number of people with mental health issues that we're dealing with are increasing on a daily basis. You see them all the time on the streets. But all of this is a response to what we expect, the professionalism of our officers. But also I wanted to put this slide in because there have been some criticisms on our people who sit around and type into YouTube about how we go out and abuse the public. I want whoever that is to listen to me very clearly. We do not and we will not abuse the public. Or do you understand me? We are here to serve the public. And if we do something wrong, we will admit it, we will apologize for it, we will fix it, and we will take the corrective action to make sure it doesn't happen again. No one is preying on the citizens of Hiram. And again, I appreciate your time and attention. I apologize.
Chief,
for
I'm
missing
sorry.
the
I
slide.
just want you to explain to our guests and our visitors, our citizens, what would be the impact on safety? Can you anticipate what that would look like for our citizens, for those who visit our city, those 65,000 plus, response time, impact on businesses?
I'll give you a personal example, and this is no reflection on the sheriff's department. The sheriff is an incredible young man, okay? I've been at this 47 years. He's a young man, okay? I stopped at an accident scene about a month and a half ago that was in the county because we do something called mutual aid. While I was there, I called dispatch. They told me a deputy was en route. I told them, if you don't mind, I'll work the accident. I'll give you the paperwork, but let's not hold up this intersection. Nope, deputy's on the way. 47 minutes later, the deputy arrived. It's not their fault. They're shorthanded, they're stressed with calls, and an accident versus responding to a person wanting or thinking of committing suicide is a low-level call. But you need to ask yourself, in a normal day when there may be 5 to 7 deputies out there, how are they going to cover what we've been covering? Because we have, on an average day, 3 uniform patrol, and then we bring in 12 to 12, which adds 2 more people. And then you've got the administrative staff that's out there helping out when we need to. How are they going to handle that? What's your response time? So it's a question we all need to answer. And again, no reflection on the sheriff's office. He's doing the best he can, but it's hard to hire people. We've been at full staff for, how long, Josh? Year and a half, 2 years? A year and a half. Took a long time to get to full staff.
Chief, the county is on a freeze for the sheriff's office right now.
If they're on freeze, I truly do hate it for him, because again, it's gonna cut into the coverage. And I'm just being as honest as I can be at this point. Madam, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ladies.
Tiffany, do you have anything?
Yes, I would also like to bring up the impact to the city's employees, which is another concern of ours. The city currently employs, at my last count, 61 employees. I have that right, Kathy? Thank you. So that's 61 families that will also be affected by this decision. 22 of those 61 employees are vested for retirement. So, you know, think of you looking forward to retirement only to get the rug pulled out from underneath you. Kathy, do you have any, I guess, feedback or input on how that may impact the staff as the HR director?
As far as the impact goes, right now the stress level, like you said, for anybody when they come to work is already at a level high. It is increasing now with this threat over our heads. But we come to work every day, as our officers do, our public works department does, the administrative. We come to work every day and we do our very best. And we choose to come to Hiram to work because we care about the residents. We make the decision to come here every day, and that every employee that has worked here, our tenure goes from, I think the breakdown, we have 2 employees that are close to between 20 and 25 years of service. The next big jump is between 10 and 15 years of service. So we have a commitment from the employees to serve you as the community every single day, no matter what stress level we're, if it's, cramp time because I'm having to get payroll done by a certain time and 20 other things are coming across the desk, or finance is working on something, trying to get the numbers to the council or whatever, and something else comes across their desk or a phone call comes in. Police officers are working multiple phone calls and calls out, on a daily basis. But we do it because of we're vested. And the threat of to know that so many employees are now reconsidering and having to think, just in case this happens, what is my plan of action to do? And that's hard. That's hard as a parent, as a grandparent, as, for any of us, even with our single employees, because they're vested in what they do every day, and their commitment to you still stands 100%, if not more. We just appreciate the council's support in looking out for us.
And I'd like to add that team Pauling is what I hear, right? When you're working a job and you are insubordinate, if you have an issue, the first thing is not termination. So that should apply for our cities, because you're not only in fact affecting employees and people's livelihoods and businesses and safety. These are the things to consider. Why would we not have any type of intervention if there was any real concern, a substantiated concern? This came out of nowhere recently, I would say. Why Hiram? Why now is what you got to continue to ask. You need to reach out to your local delegation and ask them these questions.
Bob?
Yeah, I want to bring up one thing. If you read House Bill 630, which is the one to dissolve the city, it's spelled out in one of the lower sections that if the city is dissolved, the current city limits of Hiram will become a special tax district where additional tax money will be levied on those residents until all of the outstanding bills and everything to deal with the city is paid off. You can either pay them when they dissolve the city, or you can understand why we're going to property tax to save the city.
We got the old man of the council here, Derek.
I would just like to say, like what Melissa said, was to reach out to the state legislature, because this bill makes no sense. None.
So we could start with your local delegation, which is Joseph Gullett, up for re-election. You could reach out to Kimberly New, up for re-election, Jason Inavitardi, up for re-election, and all those, we're ready to see who's going to co-sponsor, but those are the three that are pushing this attack. So those are the three that you can start with. And until we get more information, you can keep an eye on the bill and see what committee has it been adopted to? Are there any signatures on there yet? Where are we with that?
Just clarifying one thing, it's Senate Bill 630.
What did I say?
Not-
I'm sorry.
Someone said House, but
I
it's
did.
Senate
Okay,
Bill
I'm just a little
630.
passionate, sorry. Error wasn't mine, but it's okay. We're a team, and what we want to do is protect the city, protect our city, because this could be any other city.
Okay, so we're gonna go from the old guy to the new guy. Garnett, what do you got?
All right, so I want to talk about home rule, and I want to talk about voting. This action that the senator is trying to take takes away your vote, right? I'm assuming that most of you here participate in the voting process. The senator is looking to do is to take away the vote that you've already made, right? These fine council people and the mayor, myself included, we're all elected by community residents. Senator has his way, your vote will be null and void. He's trying to take that away from you. So I would strongly recommend that you reach out to your elected officials at the state level, the local people here in Paulding, the local delegation, and let your voices be heard.
Make it Garnett, Doris.
I know that, same commissioner, that Ms. Bidell and all of you are saying to reach out to our representatives. I did, and they both, Joseph and Kimberly, called me back on a dual conversation together, as I put it to them, safety in numbers, but I was by myself. I asked them to explain to me the reasoning behind this, and I never got an answer. All they did was talk around it, and said, when this happens, it will become transparent. I said, I'm tired of people saying we embezzled money. I'm tired of them saying we misused money. And I'm tired of them saying we got kickbacks. Because if we got kickbacks, guess what? I never saw any of it. And I was on that council from 21 through December of this year. So anything that they are going through, I could be responsible for also. And no answer from them.
No, of course not. I put a thing out on the all mayors board for emails today, and I got a call back from the mayor of Grantville, and he had the same question that you do. He says, what the hell is going on? He said, why is this? Because they're also going after the city of Braswell. They're going after the city of Quitman down in southern Illinois. Southern Georgia, sorry. I get lost sometimes. It's that math.
Give you
Uh,
that.
So, you know, as Melissa says, you know, why us and why now? Why are they doing this? I don't see any justification. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't sign up earlier, but I gotta speak up, and I'm sorry to put my back to y'all. But, my name's Alec Miller, and I'm gonna run against Jason Anabatardi. He hasn't had a, competitor. The guy is not transparent, he doesn't respect you, he's a coward. Where is he? Okay, the guy's a coward. I'm a Democrat, I know that scares a lot of people in here, but I don't eat babies, all right? I love Jesus, I own a firearm, and I live in Paulding County. And I don't see any reason why Hiram should go away. And Jason, he had his chance, come here. He has his chance to defend himself on the internet. He can't do that, he can't do it here in person. Where's this guy? Why are we gonna vote for him again? I want to ask you all to visit Miller4ga.com or just look my name up, whatever. I'm going to be on the ballot in November. I do have a primary opponent, May 19th. Vote for me.
Okay, so this is not what this is for.
I'm sorry.
So this is a nonpartisan municipality. So we are elected officials, and we serve the needs of those who voted for us and those who did not vote for us. So we will keep it nonpartisan. We're not going to make this a political campaign or a presentation for anybody and give anybody any advantage or disadvantage. So please, let's be respectful of that. But I appreciate you.
And Mr. Mayor, if I can address one thing, simply because we normally have rules of procedure for our regular meetings and our work session meetings that govern visitor business and public participation. Because this is a special called meeting, those rules are not directly applicable today. I just wanted to make you all aware of that, but I would agree with Councilwoman Byardell that this is a time for
And I'm sorry if I came out
non-political speech.
that way. I didn't mean it that way, but I just want to make sure we have decorum.
We're still gonna stick with the 3-minute rule.
I'll get one back.
I see it. Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to read something.
Can you tell us your name?
Daniel Davenport. I'm a Mason. I saw a brother in need. I responded. I'm a Mason. That is why I read these words. I'm a Mason. That is why I crafted my words this way. No worries. If I can help with anything else, let me know. Lastly, please take this flyer. Local leaders are asking him and the entire assembly to vote no on Senate Bill 630. Tell him I can get him a clean audit on the city, and if it does not pass, then we dissolve. But it's critical for optics that this is paused until after the presidential election. It's basically going to come off as leadership gerrymandering, or something done to spite the city leadership who is Democratic Party leaning, and they approved a large 500 to 600 housing bill, which would lead to more Democrats coming into District 31. Tell him my concern is law enforcement and infrastructure spending for new law enforcement vehicles. So I stand by the city of Hiram Mayor is a good leader and a former DHS leader. More to come, but let's pause this for now for national security purposes. We're working on piloting something special. Things in Hiram, and if they work, this will be good for U.S. interests long term. This is how we eliminate the U.S. debt. The mayor CC, let's use every angle we can to pause this and leave the city in full control of the mayor. I trust him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Melissa, do you have anything? Josewood?
So there was a little bit,
Lori?
Go ahead. Well, I want Melissa to
I'm
have
sorry.
her time.
Oh, I thought we were dealing with.
there was a little bit left off of the slideshow, unfortunately, because what we try to do is compile topics that we heard and read about. One of them is transparency. I know Ms. Debbie brought that up, and I wanted to go over what that means to Hiram government. Whoa. There are at least 2 public meetings a month that the council holds, and I say at least because obviously we're here for another one for the special call meeting, and sometimes we have our budget meetings as well. The meeting times are mostly in the evening, and I say mostly because some of them are during the day on that Saturday budget meeting, things like that, but the majority are in the evening at 6 p.m. to try to maximize the number of folks that the working population can attend. There's 3 different ways for the public to participate during a council meeting. That is public hearings, which those are prescribed by law during certain zoning cases and things like that. Then you have the public participation on agenda items. As you saw tonight, that's something you sign up for before the meeting. And you also have visitor business, which is held on regular sessions at the end to speak on anything you'd like to speak about. And these are actually prescribed by ordinance and adopted by this council to make these public participation options a priority. The mayor and council have email addresses that are singular to themselves. They also have a broad one that goes to all of them, including me and Jody. And then they also have city-issued cell phones, so they all have their own cell phone number as well. We have social media. We have Facebook and Instagram, as you already all know that. The videos of our council meetings are posted to our YouTube channel. That is typically done within 24 hours, barring any technology fun stuff. Let's go to our website. Our website has alerts you can sign up for to receive a notification when something is updated or changed. The municipal code, you can access it there as well. You have meeting calendars all on the website. Court calendars are there, agendas, minutes, ordinances, resolutions, budget documents, contact information. You have access to the YouTube channel and the social media pages from that website as well. We try to keep that website as our central hub so you can have one place to go to find everything, even if it may take you outside. You have this contact information, work order submission. You can put a citizen request in, whether it be a complaint or a compliment. The police department actually has a compliments and complaints form that you can fill out that's emailed to command staff. And we have the online application and payment access, all on that website as well. Open records request submittal, also online on that same website. We're currently working on a redevelopment, so we'd love to hear your feedback. Like, what do you see that, hey, could y'all move this here, or could you add this? We want to know this. The company Revise that we contract with is going to do some analyzing of the analytics on what people click and go to. So they're going to do that, but obviously hearing it from the horse's mouth would be way better. Our open records request is another way for you guys to find out what's going on, and if you don't believe something, you want to read something, you want to see it for yourself. We have open records requests that are handled through Just For Ya, which is an electronic application online, but it allows you to submit that request online and also view the answer to that request in the same place. You don't have to wait for a paper copy unless you want a paper copy. We've got Laserfish underway, which is an electronic records storage repository. So that is going to increase access. So we're getting there as well. And then accessibility, I would say, to not just the records, but people. And not just to elected officials, but to staff. We're open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, except for holidays. We close for lunch from 12:30 to 1:30. But typically, if you call somebody's desk, we're probably going to answer it. But don't make it a habit. But that was my transparency piece.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Do you have a question?
I have a little gray hair and a little wrinkles, and I've been around the block a few times, and I'm just straight up blind. Melissa can tell you that. I'm just gonna put it out there. We follow the money. But let's stop with all the conversation about whatever. There's either money or there's power behind this. Y'all are talking about a millage rate. Y'all have an idea of what that number is for every single citizen of Hiram. Give them the number. Give them the opportunity to say, yeah, that's a bargain, and I will pay for it, to be able to say what I want, the control that I want over my town and my politicians. There is money here somewhere. That's all.
There'll be 3
And
public
not that
hearings
money, and you
where
can
that'll be
stop.
discussed.
And we all have to talk about it bluntly. This playing around with what it might be and what we offer is not gonna get us at the bottom of what the delegation is doing. They want something here and they're after it. And you may have to come across with some tax dollars to keep it for yourself. So I think we should talk about what the bottom line is here, and we all know we're all addicts. So let's go up and ask them, what's here, what do you want?
Thank you.
Hiram's a wonderful city.
Yes.
This is just a jewel in Paulding County, and this is just beyond the pale that they would do this and call y'all Democrats like a filthy name and run all over the people of this town.
I don't know what would make them assume that they're majority Democrats. What would make you think that?
Hey, they don't care if it's one.
But what I'm saying, I agree with, it's the politics. I understand your point, and I'm not being sarcastic. I'm asking a question because let's think critically, okay? This city was founded over 130 years ago. I was the first non-Caucasian woman to sit in the seat to represent the needs of this community. The demographics has changed for many reasons. We have a 2.9% growth rate year over year. Gentrification pushing people into more affordable housing. So some of the subdivisions, some starting price points in this county are in high 5s, 6s. That's not affordable. What type of employment opportunities do you have? Teachers, that's not affordable for teachers.
How many of those people make a living wage? Every
Correct.
store over there represents 3 to 4 people that make a living wage, and they have an issue with affordable housing here, yet they want to trot down here and blow their paycheck and leave these people to struggle.
And many people are upset about the 2 mixed-use developments that are aligned with the comprehensive plan. All right, the comprehensive plan, if you could speak to that, that was aligned because it's mixed use, having retail, commercial usage, and it's aligned on 92 and other areas, and that could be, you can expand on it. However, so I don't know if the issue is affordable housing, because I don't know if 400,000 is affordable. However, it's not as expensive as those homes, those starting price points in the county. I'm a realtor, so I understand, and I know what's going on there. So I don't know if that triggered anything. If it triggered anything,
It's gonna be more housing for Democrats, because they feel.
well, I don't know that. I'm not saying that, but maybe, I don't know that. That's a speculation.
It's been brought up on certain political websites.
I see.
Repeatedly, that is the average person's objection.
I appreciate your insight and feeling and your transparency.
All right, we got somebody else that has a question here. Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
It is a question, it's not,
Did you stand up, please? You stand up.
I'm not trying to be controversial or anything, I'm curious. Okay, everyone's attacking Jason for this. He's like, why don't you leave us alone, why are you picking on us? What is the state's responsibility as far as monitoring cities and charters?
Can I answer that?
Do they have a responsibility that if something, if they see an audit and there's something, there's a little red flag right there, don't they have the responsibility to check into it?
Yes.
Is that kind of what's going on right now?
No. Anita, I appreciate you, Anita, and you know we've had a special relationship for years prior to me being in office. And you are a citizen and you have the right to voice your opinion. Every voice matters. However, if he is that concerned, have you ever seen him in these chambers? Have you ever seen him at any of our events? Has he ever offered a hand to support or any guidance in his position? His job is to balance the state budget. He was elected at the state level, we're elected on the local. I'm sorry?
What is the state's responsibility when they see an audit, that there's a question about it, and they check into it? It's not about whether he's been here, he is not the only one
I
involved in
apologize.
this.
Okay, so speaking of audits,
Mr. Mayor, if, in order to maintain order, you've honored the citizens and their ability to ask questions. If they could ask the question, let the city council members or staff respond. The talking over does not help the rest of us hear what's going on.
Oh, I said I didn't want to argue, and all I did was ask a simple question.
Can you let us answer it?
What is the state's responsibility?
Mr. Attorney, could you answer that?
The General Assembly has the authority to create, amend, and rescind cities. That is an authority that they have that's set out in state law, and it's also been affirmed by the Georgia Supreme Court. At the same time, the General Assembly has given states in Title 36 certain powers to do the various things, the various home rule things that cities traditionally do, and those are generally policed by who you put in office at the city council to make the decisions, which are maybe easy sometimes, maybe difficult at other times, but that's how cities are set up. They're set up by charters formed by the General Assembly. But in answer to your question, they do have the authority to do what they're doing. It's their decision as to whether or not they just elect to go through with that.
And
Thank you. Cord, did you have a question?
I'm sorry, Anita, we
I
can't
would-
hear you. Just let her, Anita,
Settle down, there's other people that want to ask a question.
no, Anita, your question is valid.
Cord? She's done. Cord.
And
Yes.
if I might just say, I'm sorry, you asked about an audit. Jody, can you elaborate on what findings there were in our audit?
We can go back, well, almost for the entire time that I've been here, which is about 20 years, and we have had a clean audit in every one of those years. There may be minor tweaks, like a recording of an account of an expense that needed to go under a different account name, but nothing about misappropriations, nothing about mismanagement of funds, nothing of any degree to relate to fraud or any other type of red flag of that nature. Every audit that we have had, every audit that has been submitted to the state for review has come back as a clean audit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I have our last 5-year audits out by the front desk, and you can flip through them. If you want an electronic copy, there's a sheet out there where you can put your email address or your information, and I will be happy to send anybody an electronic copy to their email for however many years you need.
Sounds like the transparency, word of the day, transparency. Why Hiram, why now?
Thank you, Jackie.
All right, Cord.
And good evening to everyone. My name is Cord Franklin. I pastor the oldest African-American church here in Paulding County. And I want to say thank you to the council. I'm a big cheerleader of public safety. I always told the chief I'm going to be his biggest cheerleader. I also want to be his first critic. So when you hear me clapping for the chief, I understand what public safety is about. But because we have all these news media here, I want to take an opportunity to speak to others who don't live in Hiram, but also might have the same issue coming in their particular city as well. There's a very famous poem that says this: first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. When the man is talking about he did not speak out, he was confessing the danger of selective concern. And it might not come for his group yet, but wrongdoing has a way of traveling. It goes through doors, it goes through brick, it goes through mortar, and eventually it's going to land on your door. So no matter what city you might be from, it might not be Hiram today, but it might be your town tomorrow. And if you don't speak out now, then when it comes to your doorstep, don't cry, why me? We had an opportunity to speak out when it's bothering someone else. So the same way they're asking you or us to contact our representatives, whether you live in Powder Springs, or you live in Conley, wherever you live in Georgia, you can still contact these different representatives and tell them what you're doing at Hiram is wrong. Okay, what you're doing at Hiram is wrong, because trust me, if they get it done in Hiram, it's going to travel to your city next. And it's going to keep going. It's going to sweep through the state until they accomplish their agenda. And so my 3 minutes up, yeah, I'm a preacher, y'all tell me. And so, right, so I just want, also, just like I said, just those who are watching, whether you watch whatever news channel you're watching, take your time out to really think about this, consider this, pray on this, and then contact the local representatives about this, so that it won't happen to Hiram. Because trust me, if it gets down here in Hiram, it's coming to your city next. Thank you.
Just a minute. Ma'am?
My name is Cynthia Stark Jones again. I want to say this is not about Democratic or Republican or Independent. When you go to the gas station and pay your gas, they're not asking what, you a Democrat, Republican, Independent. When you go to the schools and they're crowded and your children have to be in a classroom with over 30 people in the classroom, teachers are working with limited resources, they're not saying, are you Democrat or Republican? So when you go to the grocery stores, when you travel on the streets of Hiram, Georgia, they're not asking, are you Democrat or Republican? When I call the police department and I say somebody's, I hear somebody on my doorstep, they didn't ask me was I Democrat or Republican. They come right away. So this is not about Democrat or Republican. People, please don't get it mixed up. They want us to get confused and start going Democrat and Republican. This is not what this is about. Please don't get confused.
Thank you. Gentleman right there. Yeah. I'm sorry. You in the back?
Doris and this gentleman here in the last two questions. Doris?
I'd like to say something in rebuttal to Anita. When I talked to Joseph and Kimberly, I said, Joseph, you represent the city of Hiram. If you saw something or you were concerned, why did you not contact the mayor or come down there and try to help fix it instead of jumping on the bandwagon that you're on right now? And I got no response. He couldn't answer it. I said,
Okay.
Francis
All right.
said the other night.
It's enough. Yes, sir, you had a question?
Yeah. My name is Alex Bacon. Me and my wife moved here about 3 years ago. We are homeowners out here, and the biggest thing that we all need to genuinely digest is that we are also homeowners of this community. It does not matter what little letter is next to whoever's representing us. It matters that they listen to us. It does not matter what they think. They listen to their people. Stop with the infighting. For the love of God, families are being torn apart because of a little letter next to their names. Fight for what is yours and tell the senator to stop messing with our town.
Sorry. Can I take one?
You ready? You ready?
In the back.
Can we just maybe allow 5 more people? They took the time out to be here today. This is an opportunity for you to be
Meg,
informed.
you got a question?
My name is Meg Hunt Williams. I'm a downtown Hiram resident for almost 78 years at the same residence. In speaking to Mr. Palmer, our city manager, last week, my question was, how much do we have total in reserves, cash, everything that we can work on, and how long will this go for? In other words, how far is that going to take us? His response to me was basically what we saw on the screen this evening, a little over $2 million. His next response was, the auditor says this will take us till June, but I feel this will take us through September. My next concern is you're leveraging our assets so that we can be ensured that the city remains 100% debt-free. So at this point, if we have enough reserves to carry us through June or
possibly to October, what is the millage rate that you plan to set for city taxes? And how much do you anticipate, according to quote-unquote, the number of families that actually reside in the city limits? It won't be for everybody that's got a Hiram address. It'll only be for the residents that are in the Hiram city limits that'll be paying the city taxes. How much do you think an anticipation would be for this money to help offset the budget to carry us even through another year?
Good question.
To be completely candid, we have to wait for the tax digest to come out to even make those kind of determinations. There is a requirement for 3 public hearings that would have to be held if the council chooses to move forward with a millage rate. At that time, they would then have an idea of what the millage rate set is going to be. With regard to my statements to you about the amount of money that we had cash on hand, which is what was asked, if that were only what we had going forward, yes, it would carry us through. My estimation at the time was just ballpark, that alone would carry us through September. There's possibility of other revenues that may be coming in and other financial tools that we're looking at that would stretch that, which is also part of what we've been doing with our cost reduction efforts for the budget. So I can't pinpoint when that actually is going to take place or how we're going to maneuver through this. The idea is to see what the tax digest is going to be, and then we would be able to formulate what the millage proposed rate would be, and that would be discussed during the town hall, the public meetings that we have to have, the public hearings.
Do you have an idea of how many citizens actually would be in the city atmosphere of downtown, quote, Hiram, that would be paying city taxes at this point?
The current population is 5,200 people, but that includes people who are in the same household together.
Correct.
So it would be based on the property and not necessarily the one individual per tax. So I don't know exactly how to answer that.
Okay.
We have around, I would say, close to 1,800, 1,900 residential parcels that are within the city limits, and maybe more than that actually by now because of some of the developments that have occurred. Then a lot of it is going to be commercial properties that, the ones you see on 278 and the ones that are down 92 as well.
Do you have any?
Meg, if you've got some other questions, talk to Jody after the meeting, please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
For your time.
May I speak? I've had my hand up several times.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Pat Greenleaf James, and I represent a body of women who are a very strong force in Paulding County. We serve in several capacities, and I am here tonight to represent them. Our president has already drafted 3 different letters for each of us to send out to speak on your behalf to the powers that be, because we are certainly in your corner. And as I say that, I have to run.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Cynthia McGarity, and I am a Hiram resident, and I am pro-Hiram. I want to kind of piggyback off of what Pastor said regarding the power of advocacy. Wherever you live in the state of Georgia, this decision by the powers that be is not a decision that they alone can make. Wherever you live, or you may have residents who live throughout the state of Georgia, share this information so that they can connect with their legislators, because it is made not alone, but it is made with the, in conjunction with other legislators, other senators, so it doesn't matter. And I was on a call earlier with a Georgia legislator who is a senator who is asking what was going on in Hiram, and he is not from Hiram.
Thank you,
Thank
Cynthia.
you.
Thank you.
Just a minute. Sir, do you have a question?
Oh, yes, I do. My name is Derek Seibert. I've been a resident of Hiram, Georgia since 2002, for 26 years now. And I live in the West Wind Townhome community. And my question was regarding your efforts with the state legislature. I know that you all had a meeting on Tuesday. Is there an ongoing effort to make sure that we count the votes that are in favor of us retaining our cityhood, and making sure that we are viable as a city? That's one question. The second question is relating to the businesses, specifically businesses like Walmart and Home Depot. Is there an effort to make sure that they start paying their fair share for the city of Hiram?
That would be included in the millage rate.
Okay. Thank you.
Home Depot,
Home
no,
Depot's not in the
but
city.
everybody else, pretty much.
Home Depot, Mavis Tire, and IHOP. That little islander's not in the city of Hiram.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting.
Tyrone, do you have something?
Hi, my name is Tyrone Griffin. I've been a resident of Hiram for 20 years. And this is not directed to the city council, this is directed to everybody else here. Tonight, this room is full. But the city council meets twice a month.
Yes.
And honestly, it's great that we're taking interest now, but when this is over, when the bill has failed and we've moved on, please stay engaged. Don't wait until our backs are against the wall, because this city council, this mayor, this administration, they work very hard to run the city. It is not exciting. I'll be honest. I've been to many meetings. Nothing against y'all, it's boring. But that is the nature of the work that they do. Stay engaged, keep coming to the meetings, sit here and listen to what's going on. But don't just do it now when our backs are against the wall. Just stay engaged.
Thank you,
Yes, thank you, Tyrone.
Jody, do you have any closing arguments?
Would like to offer a point of clarification as related to the mixed-use developments, and it's not to argue whether you were for them or against them, just to clarify some of the misstatements or myths that are out there about that. Just wanted everybody to understand, too, that during the time of that rezoning, the thing that was being considered by the council was the property and what its use could have been, and the fact that the way we exercise local control of that would be to allow the annexation and to apply the zoning conditions that needed to be applied, and also to stipulate them heavily to try to protect this and safeguard the character of the communities that they're going to be near. And one of the other things, too, was to determine how the infrastructure for those subdivisions would be maintained. And through those stipulations, our city council made sure that the infrastructure to those developments would be maintained by the HOA, not by the city, and would not be an expense to the city. I'm not saying there would not be ancillary costs that might arise from their being in place, but the roadways, the stormwater, the street lighting, all of those things that are generally maintained on public rights of way by local governments would actually be maintained by the HOA. Similar situation as it exists in Barrett Chase subdivision, as it exists in Highland Falls subdivision, as it exists in Greystone subdivision. It would be the same for those two, where we're not on the hook as a city to pay for those repairs or those maintenance costs. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. I would also say that one of the conversation pieces that has been tonight is about local control, home rule. I look around and I see people in this audience that I know. I've seen people who I've had come to my office. They've come to the front door, asked, can we speak to me? I tried to make myself as available to anyone and as accessible as I possibly can. And I've had multiple conversations where maybe the individual doesn't agree with me, or maybe they do agree with me. That is not my job, is to tell you that you need to agree with me or disagree with me. My job is to explain what has happened if I need to, or try to address a concern that you may have. And I have attempted to do that, and so has every staff member of the city of Hiram. These people that I work alongside, I'm exceptionally proud of. They do actually believe in being a servant to the people that we're hired to take care of. I would say that the biggest concern for me is the fact that this has come about without any notice, except around February, early February, when all of this really started taking shape. And the immediate threat to dissolve the city My concern was the fact that the voice of the people who elected those that are in place to make these decisions would be taken away. Because the way this is supposed to work is if you disagree with anyone on this council, they are all at-large positions, meaning everybody, wherever you are inside the city limits of Hiram, you have the opportunity to vote for or find someone else that you would like to vote for to take that place. That would be what is taken away, is your ability to direct the city through your vote. I'll leave it at that.
Can we, before we close out, your call to action, what are you guys going to do? If you want this city to survive, if you want to save this city, somebody tell me what you should do.
Contact your reps.
Contact your reps. Do you guys, if you need information, you can see us. We'll come onto the floor and answer any of your questions.
Okay. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to join the special session.
I'll second. All in favor? I'd like to thank you all for participating tonight. Thank you very much.
Also,